Center. My name is Doug Chaplin. I'm the director of the Department of Family and Community Services. My department operates all the city's community centers, and we also administer all the social service programs in the city of Albuquerque. And so this project is a merging of these two different worlds. So it's appropriate that we're making our first installation here at Don Newton Taylor Ranch Community Center, as this is one of our most busy community centers in the city of Albuquerque. I've been working in the area of social services and affordable housing for well over 2 decades now, and one question that I'm frequently asked is what can I do or how can I help? So I'm consistently referring people to various nonprofits in our community who, like Heading Home, are making a real difference in the community. And we're always talking about either giving or volunteering, two components that are critical to the vitality of nonprofits. But putting aside your negative perceptions is something that we all can do. You don't need time, you don't need money. You just have to have a change of heart in order to make that happen. I'd like to have Heading Home's acting executive director, Joel Ackerman, come up and talk about the new campaign that Heading Home is rolling out.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. As he said, my name is Joel Ackerman. I'm the COO of Heading Home. And at Heading Home, our mission is to make homelessness rare, short-lived, and non-recurring, and I think we're achieving that goal. Over the past 5 years, Heading Home's programs have housed over 2,000 people and their families, so that's pretty incredible. And we're very proud to report that Albuquerque Heading Home, the initiative, in collaboration with our partners, has a 92% annual retention rate. So we know that Albuquerque Heading Home, the initiative, is working. We continue to make progress and move forward. So I kind of want to give you a quick history. Last year, our board of directors kind of challenged us to come up with more advocacy, more education. And so that was the inspiration behind the Two Sides for Every Story campaign. So here's how we did it. We borrowed a similar concept from a nonprofit in the UK, and we really made it our own. Thus, Two Sides to Every Story campaign. And with what I call the collective genius of a dozen volunteers that came together in a kind of create-a-thon, they came up with some really great original stories to tell. So next we started looking for locations for installation. And that's when our partnership with the city of Albuquerque, the convention center, and Cottonwood Mall, you'll start seeing these stories around town. So how does it work? Well, right behind the mayor, you'll see there is one that is installed. And so someone looks to the left and they see the story, and then you come around and you see that there's another side, and you put them together to get the full story. It's pretty cool. I would like to thank the Heading Home team, specifically communications intern Willie. Willie Mays was out there working really hard to find partners and people to help us with these installations. Thank you, Willie. Well done. I would like to thank Brianna Anderson, our communications director at Heading Home. She did a wonderful job. She really took this concept and made it a reality. So well done, Bree. Thank you. I'd like to point out our board member here, Dr. Leonardo, is here today. Thank you so much. And of course, I must thank our partners at the city of Albuquerque who have been steadfast supporters. I really appreciate that they see the value in our innovative approach to making homelessness rare, short-lived, and non-recurring. I want to recognize Doug, the MC over here, and his staff. Specific staff, where's Bobby Cisneros? He collaborated directly with Heading Home on the Two Sides of Every Story, and I thank you for that, Bobby. Thank you so much. We really couldn't ask for better partnership. We appreciate everything that you have done, so thank you very much. And with that, I will give it back to Doug.
Good job. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. We're excited to partner with Heading Home on this educational campaign, and I'm looking forward to seeing this campaign at more of our community centers throughout the city. I'd also like to invite and encourage other organizations and businesses to join us in advocating for people who are experiencing homelessness. This is a clever way to convey a thought-provoking message. And now I'd like to introduce you to my boss, who has been a champion for creating smart social solutions.
We're ready, yeah.
I'm tongue-tied. Never mind. Mayor Barry, thank you.
There you go, man. Very good. Doug, thank you so much. Joel, thank you too. And Thank you. Come on in here. We'll come and get back in the
shy.
picture here. We'll
I'm shy.
I really want to talk about a couple of things this morning, and let me start by doing this because I always try to do this. I want to thank Albuquerque. We have become a real, I'll say, international leader now, not just a national leader, in tackling difficult problems, and we're tackling them together, and we're getting the recognition we're getting because real people are having their lives impacted in a very positive way. So as I talk to mayors around the country, and we all work on issues like homelessness and panhandling, there's issues with education, there's issues with workforce development, there's just a lot of big issues out there. Albuquerque has put ourselves in a position to be an influencer on how we tackle these issues, and Heading Home is a perfect example of this, and I'll tell you why. Because we're getting our community, and our community has on their own stepped up and said, yeah, we'll have the discussion. We'll look into difficult problems like homelessness, chronic homelessness, veterans homelessness, children's homelessness, and we'll be very intentional about how we tackle those issues. And if we're going to be intentional on how we tackle homelessness and work on that issue, we have to put faces with names. And the reason that Joelle was able to give you some of the statistics that she has is because we've put names, we've put real people, and we've created real solutions for them, one by one, name by name. We could go down the list of the 560 plus people with just the permanent housing, the Housing First model that have been put into homes. And we can tell you their names, and we can tell you their individual stories. And the Apartment Association has stepped up and said, we'll take folks into our apartments. The business community has said, we'll help with this. The faith community has stepped up and said, we'll help make sure that people have utensils if they've been living on the streets for 15, 20 years. They don't have a frying pan. They don't have a pot to cook in. They haven't been indoors for the longest time. But we've done it one person at a time, name by name. Your first lady, my beautiful wife, Maria, took part, she's been a tutor for many, many years, decades, and she took part in a program called Title I Homelessness Initiative through APS. And she had a student that she was tutoring, and this student lived in her car. And I'm going to read you what's on the wall behind me in just a minute. I'm going to take it home to Maria tonight. She's going to read that, and I'll guarantee you she'll cry over it because she saw this firsthand. So there's, you know, but then we've actually done another smart thing with these initiatives. We've actually studied them. So now we can talk to our community about why it makes sense. Heading Home is called the smart way to do the right thing. And the reason we do that is because we've actually studied it. We can tell you a couple of things. Just with our first cohort of people, our 50 people, we talked about this over and over again. 31% less expensive for you and I as taxpayers to help somebody get into housing than to let them struggle for survival on the streets. That's 31% that we can put in to house another individual of savings. That's 31% we can get to our first responders. We can do more in our community with that. 64.2% decrease in jail costs. Because people are struggling for survival on the streets, a lot of times they're just having to get by. And we're coming up with better solutions than just sending people to jail. Emergency room decrease in cost, 36.2%. And when we're doing this in a holistical way, we stood up 2 years ago and basically said, per the HUD definition, we've ended veterans homelessness in the city of Albuquerque. Other cities have taken that on as well. So as we move forward, as we talk about Heading Home, as we talk about the thousands of people that they've been able to help, these signs I think are going to be a really positive way for us just to stop for just a few minutes as community members and think about what it looks like to be homeless. And if we can internalize that individually, it's going to help. One of the things I'm so proud of Albuquerque is I don't see a judgmental nature here. I don't see people wagging fingers. I don't see people making snap judgments. But if you don't understand what the person's going through, it's hard to do everything that needs to be done. And so I'm going to read what's behind me here today. I'm going to read you the one side, and then I'm going to read you the other side. This is about a 10-year-old child. Being 10 years old is a joy. It's good memories, it's friendships, it's a wonderful childhood. And I can hear children playing behind us in this little playground right here. And that's what I hear. And we're thankful to live in a country where most kids can tell that story. But in Albuquerque, 12,000 kids cannot tell that story. So here's the story that the other 12,000 kids will tell you. Being 10 years old and homeless is a joy never felt. It's good memories never had. It's friendships never made. It's a wonderful childhood that 12,305 New Mexico homeless children never get to experience. So let's keep going. Let's keep working. Keep supporting Heading Home. Keep supporting the faith community. Keep stepping up day to day, Albuquerque, because we're making a difference. Cities from across the country now are asking us, how did you do this? And I tell them the same thing every time. We did it with a great community that has a big heart. We did it with great nonprofit like Albuquerque Heading Home and Heading Home. And we did it intentionally, one person at a time. And we're making a difference. So thank you, Joelle, and thank you, Doug, and everybody that works at Family and Community. These people spend, what did you come up and tell me the other day, $30 million a year. We were talking about the meeting the other evening with the city and the county. And the city of Albuquerque and the county spend about $30 million a year on programs to help with everything from mental health to substance abuse to homelessness initiatives. But we can always do better. We can always be smarter about how we do it. But it all starts with just putting ourselves in a position where we can understand the other side of the story. So thanks a lot.